So, welcome officers from the Monipo station.
Pleasant
Hey,
night.
good night, good night. Welcome, welcome. Yes, thank you for being here.
Let him
Yes.
come home.
You want to come up here? Come man, come because you have notes, because I know our residents will want to ask you all there from the Monipo station. So,
Let it come
so
home.
Sergeant Small is from the community policing section. He's based in Shogunas, but he goes all over the country. Yeah, he goes all over the country. Put it next year now. So we
Oh, yeah.
don't have anybody,
Nice.
right? So, first of all, let me introduce Sergeant Small. Well,
That's minutes. 4 minutes. Nice.
just remember that so they understand the relationship. Um, I met Sergeant Small while I was working, and his heart is really about community. His heart is about community. He was in the task force. He's a big, tall officer, but always with a community touch. Because at the end of the day, we realize that all of us have a part to play. Even if we meet the bad man, sometimes all the bad man wants is somebody to listen to. So once we approach the work with that attitude, we always get best results.
True.
So I want to thank Sergeant Small for gracing us with his presence. He normally comes with a team. He said one wanted to do something like this in Maraval, and one was called out of the country again on duty. But we have able officers from Manipur. We have Mr. Joint here. Well, we know him because plenty time when anything happens in Cocoyea, he comes because he's one of the detectives at the station. And Miss Cassie, welcome, welcome, welcome to Cocoyea. So over to you all. Sergeant Small, you will start and then we will take it from there. Let's give them a round of applause. Okay.
Nice. So, pleasant night, everyone. My name is Sergeant JC Small, and I'm the second division officer in charge of the community-oriented policing section of the Central Division. Right? It's really a great honor and privilege to be here tonight to just be able to share with you all in terms of how we can work together and find solutions to treat with any issues of crime or general community issues that may be affecting the community. Now, community policing is really a philosophy and is an organizational strategy that identifies, prioritizes, and solves contemporary problems including crime, drugs, the fear of crime, and overall community decay. Right? So I'll just give you that definition because it's just one of the aspects of the core policing efforts embraced by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Notwithstanding that we have the officers doing operations and like we have the detective here doing investigations, we even have our intelligence officers. The police service use our different techniques in policing, in modern day contemporary policing, to treat with issues of crime affecting the community. So community policing is just one. We also use our approach called evidence-based policing, meaning that we use the best practice in terms of what research has shown. Right? Really and truly, the core elements of community policing, there are three core elements. One being community partnership, which is actually the first pillar in our strategic objectives in terms of the organization, 2022 to 2024. We currently, working with stakeholders to, roll out our 2025 operating plan and our 2025 to 2027 strategic plan, right? But probably the last few strategic plans that we have had for the police service, community partnership have always been a core element of our strategic objectives in terms of the organization. So in terms of community policing, the first core element, say it with me, is community partnership,
Community partnership.
right? So if it is we learn nothing else tonight, then we try to remember these things because this is what, makes up the approach in terms of the police and the community working together. So the first one is community partnership. The second one is organizational transformation, meaning that we as an organization must constantly be transforming and evolving to meet the current needs of the community considering the crime trends. So we have a unit in the police service called CAPA, meaning Crime and Problem Analysis Branch, and they look at the crime trends in terms of the areas where we have any crimes, the the times where we have any crimes, the prevalence of certain crimes in certain communities, right? So we look at current crime trends and realities to determine our policing strategies and where are the best locations to deploy our resources, right? So that organizational transformation, as much as community partnership happening, we must constantly be transforming to become like a world-class organization. Considering we have so many first world countries like the US and Europe practicing different policing efforts and they have been proven to be effective. So we're not reinventing the wheel in Trinidad, but we're looking at what is happening around the world and working with our stakeholders to at least see how we could prevent and reduce crime in Trinidad and Tobago. And the third pillar of community policing. So the first one is community partnership. What is the second one?
Transformation.
Transformation. So we get a spectator transformation. And the third one is shared problem solving. And that is why we are here tonight to actually discuss, what are some of the issues affecting the community and how we can work together to come up with solutions. So the police don't have the ultimate fix, meaning that we come in with a blueprint tonight and read and spell and say, hey, do this, do that, do that. I mean, we would share some ideas, but we believe too, you all are the best people, the people in the neighborhood are the best people to tell us what I think, is some of the suggestions that will work. And as I say that, one of the platforms that we have in the police service to discuss in terms of problems and working together to come up with solutions is the station council. You all ever heard of the police station council?
Yes, sir.
Nice. So every police station throughout Trinidad and Tobago, we have a mandate where we must engage the residents of the stakeholders of each community or each station district. Right? So the police station council is that platform. Now the police station council, just recently I was having a conversation with somebody, I can't recall who exactly, but I think it's important that we have the youth arm of community organization being involved in the station council. So wherever you have, because and what brought this to my mind is that I would have engaged some young people at outreach initiative in Tatico um, Credit Union. And during that engagement, the kind of questions that the youths ask is really pertinent to things that we need to be doing currently. So, notwithstanding that the station council, mostly the mature people in the community come out, I want to start encouraging the younger generation or the youths of communities to come and be a part of the station council. And even these type of gatherings, we must try to see how we could get the children to come out, the youths to come out to be a part of it because they too have some really good solutions, right? Generally, what is a neighborhood watch group? A neighborhood watch group is an initiative or another collaboration between the police and the community, and it's really about the community empowering themselves in terms of making themselves a hard target, right? So, for any crime to happen in any community or any part of the world, there must be three elements present for that crime to happen. You must have the opportunity for the crime to happen, one. So we call it the crime triangle. So let's picture a triangle and just picture the base of the triangle being the opportunity, right? So for any crime to happen,
Side.
you must have the opportunity for the crime to happen. You must have the victim for the crime to happen, right? And who want to guess the other one? Opportunity so far. We're talking crime triangle. In order for any crime to happen, picture the word crime. We have the opportunity, we have the victim. Who is the next person to complete the triangle?
The
The
perpetrator.
criminal, the perpetrator. Well, they have a dung pack man, right? So that is something we call the crime triangle. And the crime triangle, we believe if it is remove the opportunity, if we remove any element from the triangle, then the crime just can't happen, right? So if it is you remove the opportunity, and I want to just kind of tap on you here tonight. What are some of the things that you think we can do to remove? So we will break it down. So we'll start first with the household. In terms of the household, what are some of the things that you think we can do to remove the opportunity for a crime happening to you at home? Let me just hear some of the suggestions. Let me ask my good friend here. Cameras, that is a deterrent. So if it is, we're saying that the camera is going to ultimately stop a criminal element from entering your home, but it will give the police Right now we have throughout the police divisions, the CCTV retrieval unit, and is a unit that tasked with the responsibility when we have any crimes happening and we have CCTV footage. They go and retrieve the footage and prepare it in such a way that we could even present it before the court as evidence. Right? So the cameras, I love that suggestion. You know, like something in terms of the opportunity is a deterrent. We ain't saying that it will ultimately stop a bandit from coming in your place, but when they see the cameras, they're thinking twice because that is when they go try to probably pull down the hat and they might palm mask to kind of, block their face so that people wouldn't notice them and that kind of thing. So the cameras is a strong deterrent. So we picture in household again. What some of the other things that are happening around the household that we could do to remove the opportunity for a crime happening at home? Prayers, I mean, spirituality is important. But they say, or the Bible say, prayer without works is dead. So we could pray all day and all night. And if it is we leave we house open in an area that's known for a lot of crime and larceny and thing, what do you think the bandit go do? They go say hallelujah. And they go enter your house and they go take your belongings and they will commit crime. Because once you give them the opportunity, because we taking opportunity, I mean prayer, we pray, no, no. But we pray and we asking in Jesus' name to give you the strength to remember to secure the doors properly, to secure the windows properly, to make sure that you have locks, to make sure that you put a little deterrent like the camera. Anything else? Alarm, another deterrent. Because I mean, as we mentioned alarm, I just want to tie in something called the air horn. And in many communities, throughout Trinidad and Tobago, it had one incident in Valsin and one in the West Trinidad in Diego Martin, I believe, where bandits came in and they were in the process of committing a robbery. And as soon as somebody in the house was able to trigger the air horn, it's such a thing that I mean I don't have any here now, but we could look towards purchasing some air horns for the community. How the air horn work? We will actually come and do a drill with you all when we actually reach to the point of purchasing the air horns. But the air horn is that when one household blasts off the air horn, it's supposed to have a ripple effect. So once you hear the air horn blast off here, you know it's some emergency happening at the household, and it's for the other neighbors to do a similar thing, and is really designed to be able to deter the criminals. So usually, most of the time when they hear that blast, it's very loud. When they hear the blast, they try to get out of it. They try to flee. They try to get away. And at the same time, the air horn alone in isolation wouldn't work. It had to be that ripple effect where one household sounded it off where the emergency happening, and then the other households having the ripple effect. And then the whole community waking up because of these air horns. Whether it's one in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 in the evening, the air horns is a really, really strong deterrent. Most of the time, as the bandits hear it, they flee one time, right? But that in isolation wouldn't work. So we want, notwithstanding the air horn, but while somebody in the household triggering off the air horn, we want somebody to come to the WhatsApp group, post the information in terms of description of suspect. And before all of that, somebody say, call the police, right? Call 999. That is where we had the emergency response. And we will also, before the night over, give you the contact number for the station in the district because sometimes they call 999 in reality, and because of how many emergency calls coming in at the same time, they may not get through immediately, right? But we trying as an organization to have a faster response time. So we will also try to share with you the station number so that any emergency you could contact the station and because when you call 999, what the 999 usually do is get the closest patrol, whether they're from the station or not, to respond. So whether we have the emergency response patrol officers outside, the IATF, the GB, any patrol unit that outside the task force, any patrol unit, the CID, the Operation Command Center. So we have the 999, but in each division we have something called an Operation Command Center where they also dispatch calls. They have an idea where the patrols are because all the police vehicles have GPS and they could actually, direct a patrol that closest to the emergency to respond. All eyes, in keeping with us trying to have faster response time. Right? But call the local station, call 999. Those are the two main contacts. As a matter of fact, I'm hoping that you all already have a WhatsApp group established in the community. You all have that yet? Well, no problem. But what we could do from tonight moving forward is establish a WhatsApp communication group. This should really almost be done street by street, not you're just adding randomly any Tom, Dick, John, Jane, Harry in the community, even the drug pusher, even the person who thieving, even the person who bringing people from outside to thief. Well, I think we should add them to the group. But plenty groups compromise because of the large numbers. So what happened is that the neighborhood watch initiative should almost be done street by street. So you identify somebody who law abiding. I say preferably probably like a retired officer or a serving officer, whether you belong to the police service, whether I belong to the, defense, law abiding. Because we have a lot of people that compromise too. That is a reality. Right? So try to get people that law abiding, who obey any laws, they are not running to the laws, they're not questionable in any form, they're not selling drugs, they're not stealing. Because when it is you put important information about criminal elements in the community, what do you think they're going to do if they compromise? They're going to alert their friends and say, hey, look, I now see this person posts this in the chat, well, be careful. They're going to be able to strategize. Well, bandits just strategize and plan, and they're very, in Trinidad we use that term organized crime, they're very organized. So we the community, we had to be, we smarter, we law abiding, we had to come together and strategize the same way to safeguard ourselves and our community. Go ahead, man. Say again? We will get to that, but I will just address it briefly, but I don't want to lose my chain of thought. But in terms of the renters, I suggest that they liaise with their local police, the CID officer, the corporal in the station, and get them to just run a check. We have something called the Versadex. It's not a certificate of character. Better than all of that, encourage the persons the landlords and them, to tell their tenants, one of the prerequisites to be able to rent the property is that you need a certificate of character. You don't know you need a certificate of character for everything.
Yeah.
Ask them to be able to run the place. You need to have a certificate. It's only $50. So let them pay the $50 because sometimes you might check on the computer and the information not always updated in a timely manner. So that sometimes persons the matters dismissed, but you still want to know a kind of history. So the local police guys when they come in, they could check the Versadex system and see because sometimes a man arrested and for various reasons he win the court matter, but he was arrested and charged already for larceny related offenses, for sexual related offenses, for different breaches of the law. And you might, if it is he have no record, and he went and he get the court extract from the court and he come back and he bring it to the fingerprint department and they remove the record, right? It means that it wouldn't show up on a certificate of character. But it's important for you to have the information that this person, he questionable in that he wasn't convicted, but he was charged already for robbery. He probably went on a technicality or something, but it's important for you to liaise with your local police to get that type of insight information in terms of renters, right? Because you need to know who are the people in your neighborhood, just like Sesame Street suggested.
Now I hear you saying something, and this is what I want to encourage for us to chat.
Hmm.
You saying for us to liaise with our local police,
Hmm.
but the local police have to liaise with us too.
I agree. Well, let me hear what the corporal have to say about that.
We are willing, we are,
Let me address everybody.
the Monitor Police is willing and able, and we are see what Sergeant Small indicated, part of the community partnership. We working with all the resources that we have right now to work with the community to make it a better and safer place. So you just have to reach out to us and share whatever information, and we are willing to work with you.
You can talk a little louder, please. Yeah.
We're trying to bring back those things. We're trying to bring back those things. You will see it happening soon.
Because one of the things that we used to advocate, right, is especially well, I would have worked in the 21st century policing program. One of the real tenets of that program was the officer used to spend so much time on the field, and that used to help you to get to know your community. So you're coming to the community, you might see the same person going to work every day at the same time. You say, hello, how are you? Everything all right? And sometimes that is all the villager need. because plenty people wouldn't just start to talk to the police. But if the police initiate the conversation, people would respond in a positive way. People would be happy to see the police, you know.
Yeah, we agree. I say we agree.
Just when Miss
Trust
Winchester
me, the
was
reason I'm here tonight is because I'm representing the sergeant here tonight, and I will be informing him of everyone's needs here tonight. So we will be working. We will try our best.
Yeah.
Yes, we will.
And I just wanted, in support of the officers, their mere presence here tonight, it speaks volumes about their interest to want to work with the community. You know, so many things happening. They could have been out there patrolling, but they saw the need or the importance of being here to note your concerns because little officer, she noting everything in her records here. She's taking some notes and she going to, as she said, relay it back to her senior officers. And I mean, community walkabouts is all part of this whole public safety initiative, which is our second pillar, where we want to increase safety in public places and encourage more community walkabouts and that kind of thing. So as I mentioned, let me just try to find out. I mean, we're going to form the WhatsApp group sometime, probably tonight or by tomorrow. And even the officer is sure to be willing to be added to the group to know what's happening in the community. And then they will be able to keep you in the loop too in terms of when is the next police station council meeting, so that we can have a wide cross section from the communities in the station district to come to the station council meeting where we could meet regularly to have the conversations about. I mean, when they come, you're going to be privy to information like where the most crimes happening, where's the times of the crimes. Through that department we have called CAPA, Crime and Problem Analysis Branch. One of the benefits of coming to the station council meeting is you'll have first-hand knowledge and information in terms of where the police presence is needed most. Because the police too have to prioritize in terms of the resources generally, in terms of where to deploy most of the patrols because where the crime trends are. But notwithstanding that, we embrace and we welcome the idea and the importance of touching all parts of the community for people to feel that sense of safety and security with the mere police visibility, which is a deterrent. Yes, sir. Right, 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 right.
yeah.
Yes. But you have an active because we had to actually come and do a drill with you all.
Take the information.
Right. So, yeah, so we will take your contact and we want you to take the officer's contact so that you could be able to because the group by itself without any police from the station district to be able to assist you when it is your post information. Now we had to really try when we haven't. Oh, Yeah. But before we leave, we definitely you definitely have a conversation with the officer here. You'll be able to give her your contact, and we want to be more involved in terms of what happening. So we have one gentleman talking about a dead end street that he live in where he have about 45 people in the watch group. We need to have like about probably 10. How much people we have here tonight? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We need to have at least about probably 12 other neighborhood watch groups setting up tonight, because you gotta go now and identify the people in the street that law abiding and try to you be the street captain and start the initiative in terms of forming the watch group. Or if it is you're not very tech savvy and you want to talk to probably the policeman in the street or some person that a youthful law abiding person that you believe could establish the watch group. But we need to really probably go and talk to the neighbors and find out who's interested. But the law by I keep on reiterating the law, because if it is just set up this watch group and you have people who are criminal elements, waste of time. Because they'll be seeing all the information, we will be posting police information to make the community more aware in terms of what we're doing, and we really don't want to divulge this information to criminal elements. It's critically important. Right? So moving forward, I mentioned to you about the crime triangle. I talk about the opportunity. We talk about things that we could do to safeguard the household. One concept I want to just tie into all that we having in terms of the conversation tonight is something called CEPTED, Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design. You ever heard of that term? Anybody ever heard of that term? Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design. And it simply means considering the environment in terms of removing the environmental opportunities in terms of a crime happening at your home or anything like that. For example, you have a house where you have overgrown trees and it obscuring the view from the street, meaning that the police probably on a patrol and they cannot see. All I know, drug lords like to have tall wall and tall galvanized fence and thing. But in this modern world, we need to kind of move away from that kind of thing. Once we law abiding, we need to make sure the wall at certain level. So if some emergency happening on the police and patrol and they see something happening in the yard, the relationship supposed to be so close between the police and the community. If you live in the country, you're supposed to be able to tell your law abiding neighbor and the police in the station, hey, officer, I'm going out of the country for a little 6 months. I wouldn't be there at all. I'm leaving on my lights and that kind of
Can't do
thing.
that again.
Right?
Trump ain't having that.
Right? But the idea is to communicate the information with your neighbor, your law-abiding neighbor, the police, and that kind of thing. So that if something, for example, is not there, and something and I still saying, are going abroad, you go to work, and during the day that you're not home, something happening in your yard. You think if the tree is overgrown and the wall real high, and your neighbor can see what going on in the yard, the police can see what going on in the yard, we will be able to deter anything? No. So things like tall walls, overgrown trees, you're leaving home in the day, you're coming home in the night, put on the lights so that when you return home in the night, you're not meeting ultimate darkness. So in a place that real dark, and all I believe that is a good opportunity or a good location criminal go use to commit a crime. Normally when you hear about crime and things like rape and robbery and all these things, then it's always in some dark, lonely place that people not accessing often, or it's not well lit. Things like your street lights. You could call Tiantec via 800 bulb, right? And if it is you have a simple street light now working, you could take the pole number and call 800 bulb or text Tiantec through the app, send the information to them, and you'll be able to get them to come and repair things like the simple as the lights. Once you have an active neighborhood watch and you identify any part of the community that a street light not working, you could reach out to Tiantec via 800 bulbs to get them to come and to repair the light. So all these are things, when you think about SEPTED, those are some of the things that we look at when we consider SEPTED. So removing the opportunity, and when it is remove the opportunity, then the crime, we wouldn't complete the triangle and then the crime can happen. In terms of the victim, we consider something called target hardening. So some of the things that we describe with the house, in terms of the alarm, the security cameras, right? All those things are related to home safety. And I just want to talk about personal safety now. And before I even go into personal safety, I want to mention something called situational awareness, meaning that you must be always, aware of your environment, scanning and observing. You're walking down the streets. Some people like to just walk and they face down in the phone, the earplugs in the ears, and they're just not aware of what's happening. you're not conscious of your environment, you're not aware of what's happening around you, perfect target for a criminal element. And it's about, removing yourself from the situation in terms of being a soft target. You want to make yourself a harder target so that the criminals wouldn't target you. You're walking on the road, some people like to wear flashy jewelry and earrings and chains. I'm not saying that you can't bling, but it's 2025, and if the criminal elements here, flashy, a set of cash in your hand, large sums of cash and whatever, they're going to make you a target. They're going to rob you. We've seen people going to the bank, going to make deposits, going to withdraw. You need to be always scanning the environment. We see too much of videos on social media where people walk into the bank, they come out, they take out $100,000 and somebody just snatch your bag and they run with it. And all these things, contributing to our escalating crime rate. We could do things to kind of prevent crime from happening in terms of ourselves, and it's about starting with us. Safety starts
Us.
with you. Go ahead. Mhm. A youth program? You, I will get to that. I'll surely get to that. Right? Just remind me. Right? But we're going to get to that shortly. Yeah, so in terms of personal safety, as I mentioned, you're not going to move about with large sums of cash in the public spaces, jewelry. You're going to always be scanning the environment. And it have a term that I mentioned at the beginning of this aspect of the conversation. All you remember? Situational
Awareness.
awareness. Say it with me. Situational awareness.
Awareness.
And it's just simply being aware of your environment, scanning, observing, make sure that you're not being followed. If it is you come out of the bank and look, just today, a gentleman came to the station in Shogunas and reported that he was in like a casino settings, a playway outlet where they had the wall machines and that kind of thing. And he playing the machine and somebody just come over his shoulder and showing him, tell him press this, press that, and he caught up in that convince, but the man really come to distract him, and he know. And I had the footage on the phone. And while the man doing all of that with him and whatever, the man simply just slip his hand in the pocket and he take out the wallet. Right? The man breathes a little bit and then he disappear. And then before you know it, when uncle looking to dip in the pocket to take out money now, he had no wallet. So the man was able to take $1,000 from him. He take he driver's permit, the ID card, all the important documents went with the wallet. And we're still searching for that person. So you need to really be whether you're going to the grocery. When some people go to the grocery, sometimes we like to leave, we park our cars and we leave our handbags on the seat. We leave things in places where bandits could just look in your vehicle and see that you have something of value on the seat. What do you think they're going to do? I see a footage just some months ago where a man withdraw money about $100,000 and park up the vehicle to go and get something, and somebody just smashed the glass. Like they observe him from since by the bank, and they went away with the $100,000. Unfortunately, he never got back the money. Right? So simple things that we could do to make ourselves a harder target. Right? Any questions at this time? I know you mentioned what we have in terms of engaging the youths. Now I can tell you across Trinidad and Tobago, we have 97 police youth club. What is the police youth club? The police youth club is an organization where the police service, which the police service established in 1974, right? And the core focus of the police youth club is to engage the youth through a holistic development approach, through core developmental values like education, that is one, sports, the environment, arts, culture. As a matter of fact, how accessible? Now, in every police station district, we have police youth clubs across Trinidad and Tobago. So right. So the officers here, we will have to liaise with them, and we will have to, in terms of the conversation with the community police in this. Right, right. Understand what you're saying? Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm happy to say that. So, in every society, I have these social issues, right? So I just allow me to explain first, in terms of the police youth club. So as I say, we are the engaging holistic development approach through education, sports, the environment. And in every police station district, they will have a number of police youth clubs, right? I don't know which are the police youth clubs in this district, but I something that we will have
We
to
we had
um
one here.
mhm.
We had one here many years ago. It became defunct, but that is something that I will pursue. That is one of the things that the village council we're going to pursue getting back a police youth club in Cocoyea.
And before we even go on, ma'am here, Miss Patsy Joseph, is the founder of the Cuba Police Youth Club. Up to this day, is one of the most vibrant police youth club in the country. As a matter of fact, it's so vibrant that the National Gas Company decided to sponsor that police youth club. It's one of the few police youth clubs that NGC sponsors, where they pay for the youth's activities. For example, they do things like barbering, things like so they do tech vocational skills as well as educational programs. They also have
Sports.
music, they have sports, so many different, a plethora of activities. And I'm sure Trinidad and Tobago, every police youth club have their strengths in terms of what type of activities based on the needs of the children and based on the desires of the children. But we're going to get information passed on to you through the watch groups and them. I'm going to try to work to get it too from my counterparts in community police in this area. And probably before the week done, we're going to tell you which are the police youth clubs in this police station district that the youths can access. And let me tell you something, even in addition to the police youth club, if it is you, because all you living here, it's all the children living here and grandchildren and nieces and nephews. If it is we identify a catchment of children that we willing to work with in the community here, nothing wrong with don't underestimate Miss Patsy Joseph, right? She's very resourceful. So if it is we identify a catchment of children, we could probably do a little start by doing a little survey and find out from the youths in the community, what is some of the things that they want to see happening in the community. Because we could come and prescribe what to them. If they're not interested in it, they wouldn't come to the sessions. No, it's from 5 years old to 29 years old, the police youth club.
We need to talk about their experience.
You know something? You ever heard about the saying it takes a village to raise a child? The police wouldn't have all the solutions. And that is why I keep on saying we're here to discuss ways that we could do things. Because let me tell you something. In 2017, we met a situation in Enterprise Shogunas. Ma'am can attest she was on the ground with us, where the same things that they're describing, they're disruptive in the schools, when they go to the household, there's crime in the community, the poor. And we have to, you know what we're actually doing, and I'm suggesting that we'll do something like this. We have to do something. One of the first things in terms of finding out what is the situation in the community, they must do something called a needs assessment. And that's why I keep on saying we have to find out from the youths, we have to know what the needs are in the community. If it is just saying poverty is one of the needs, then we have to identify some of the stakeholders that we could bring on board in the community to treat with those social needs, right? Because the police wouldn't have all the resources. Notwithstanding, we from time to time, make my maximum for some hampers to get some people that she accustomed helping months now and up to now me again, right? Because things not always forthcoming from the business community. But in terms of where you all live here, if it is we could identify what are the needs, we need to do that first. Find out what is the needs in the community. What do youths want to do? What is some of the needs in the household? And then we go know which agency. So like the Ministry of Social Development, we could try to do something called an awareness drive and development drive, where we bring some of the agencies right in this community center, do a nice little flyer, and invite people from the children from the community to come to this location to access certain information. Because some people just simply not aware of some of the services available to them. Ministry of Social Development, I know for sure, they will do something called a means test. Meaning they will look at the household income to see whether you qualify or you don't qualify. Because if a person working for a certain amount of salary and it beyond in terms of the means test, they wouldn't qualify. Because sometimes some people saying, I know people saying,
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Things like homework center, things that, no, but what I'm saying, we have to identify. I mean, we could come up with 100 problems,
Okay.
Yeah. And
You take note of
yeah.
that.
So we taking a note of that, but in addition to that, I saying probably we need to figure out where's some of the things we need to find out in the community. We need to create a simple, we could do it on Google Docs. You look like you're tech savvy. Hmm.
Mhm.
Right. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that is one means at which we could get the data, but I also encourage in the community for us to know who are the people in the community and who need the help, and for us to know for ourselves too. It's important for us to, I ain't saying that you particularly have to do it, but it's important for the community. Probably the village council group could come together and do like a little community walkabout a day and just find out ways some of the things that we could introduce to the community to the benefit of the community. So that way you mentioned in there, the
Point
schools
taken.
is one resource, but it's not the only resource. So we could target the schools, but we must, while we targeting the schools, also engage the community for ourselves to know what it is happening in the community itself. And then we will know which resources we should prioritize in terms of bringing them first. So look, we will know if to bring the Ministry of Social Development first. We're going to have to let NASC come and do all the registration first. We're going to have to get CCC to come and do our registration. We're going to know which resource to come now. I mean, whichever the stakeholders are. Well, I mean, nothing wrong with reaching out to them. So as I say, we could start off with a simple an awareness drive day where we inviting different stakeholders to come to the probably this location, and we could see what are the different resources available, what are the needs people could register for little grants, and we could, as a matter of fact, if you're all interested, we have an organization called Field. They do a monthly hamper distribution where they give you the resource and you have to package the hampers. If this community interested, the only thing is that you have to pay an annual subscription fee, right? And then we could get the community police.
Second note.
Yeah, we could get the community police a little more actively involved in this particular area too, because we have a medium by which we could get monthly hampers from the field organization. The only thing is that the community may have to come and package it for themselves. So you get the raw material like the rice, you get some beans, you get different resources, but you will have to come here and bring a scale and bring your bags and whatever to package your items to be able to distribute it as you see fit in your community. So I just suggesting some things too to be able to empower the village council to
You lady
assess
take
the
it.
community.
Could speak a little louder, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
They use social
Well,
media.
every single day I get in information about programs that are available to the youth to empower them. Every day I get in information. As a matter of fact, while I was on my way here, someone from the Kuva community sent me some information about something that young people could participate in. What we will do is, as much as you form any neighborhood watch groups, it's important to form like a social slash business group. Just a suggestion, so that you wouldn't put all those type of information in the watch group where you want to get information about criminal activity. Because when it is you put that flood of information, it kind of compromise the purpose of the intended purpose of the chat. So as much as you set up like, oh yeah, your neighborhood watch set up a simultaneous business watch. A business watch where you could do again to is to find out where's the resources in the community. Find out who's the man who where had the parlors, get the business people involved so the community would know and be able to support each other in terms of the resources. And in that chat, You're able to post when they see opportunities come up for the young people, you post it there. And what we will do, I will try to I mean, I open in terms of you being able to add me, and any information come about anything to benefit the youth or the community, I'm going to share it with mom, and we're going to try to share more of those types of information to be able to benefit the wider community and the young people, right? And as I mentioned, social media. I just want to just encourage parents and remind parents to pay attention to their children social media, right? There's a lot of criminal elements there targeting the children through the social media. As a matter of fact, I could recall an incident in the US where one of them trending hip hop icons, he went shopping and he kind of post up that he had large sums of cash and he was blinging and whatever. And on one of the bags, it had his address in terms of where he was staying. And three young men went, they shot and they kill him, and they take the money that he had on that location. And that, I mean, that was in the US, but a lot of trends that we see happening in terms of crime around the world, it's not unique to Trinidad and Tobago. Same Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and, you know, encourage your children or discourage your children from things like engaging with strangers. Some of them video games that have people that are hacking them too and coming to try to be predators to children in terms of sexually grooming them, in terms of encouraging them to join gangs. It's happening all via social media. So, it's important for you to pay attention to your children's social media and ensure that you know who they're talking to. Check the devices. Sometimes you need to check the book bags. Get them a little random search. Pop in the school. Be involved in what's happening in the school. Because sometimes the child home is not the same child in school. The behavior is a totally different behavior. And as I mentioned, that yesterday I would have participated or I would have received that certificate having completed that training with NADAP, right? And that is a drug outreach organization, which is an arm of the Ministry of Health. And things like vaping and that kind of thing. These things so harmful and they contain such chemicals that cancer causing and these things. And the youth just not educated. I mean, we from a police perspective, we will tell them about the law and about being, if it is a found within 500 meters of any place that children gather, as one of the amendments to the Dangerous Drug Act. It was places where we have schools, but now it was amended to say that any place that children gather in. So just like how we have a savannah here, if it is the children playing here and people coming and they're smoking marijuana and the police and patrol and they find them within 500 meters at any place that the children gather in, they could be arrested and charged for trafficking that dangerous drug. Not only marijuana, but we have plenty new drugs like LSDs and plenty new drugs on the market that a lot of parents don't know it happening in the schools. Things like marijuana brownie and marijuana gummy. So we need to pay attention because once it have any trace of drugs and the police take that drug and send it to the forensic science center and we do investigation and we get the feedback, it means that your children or your loved ones or whatever or whoever can be arrested and charged. I know we talk about 4 trees in the amendment per household. It doesn't mean if the household have 5 people, you're going to have 20 trees. There's 4 trees per household, right? So so because people always arguing that everybody could have 4 trees. But then if you have 20 people living in a house and you have 4 trees per person,
Forest.
right?
Yeah.
You will be trafficking marijuana,
Yeah.
right?
It's a
So
plantation.
so simple things like that, people already, and then to move about in the streets, you're allowed to have 5 grams, right? Doesn't mean that you can walk out and smoke in the street because smoking in a public place is still an offense, right? So all these things we have to constantly be aware of what happening in terms of crime and keep on educating our children. More than put striking fear in them, when we educate them about the adverse. So much of people getting cancer and things these days. And what causing the cancer? Things like cigarette smoking, the vape. The vape, they say the vape, the amount of tar and the nicotine and thing in vape, it's like
Yes.
100 cigarettes in one compact chemical. Right? So how the vape is that's something that heating the vape or heating a chemical or a liquid in the vape and that is what creating the vapor itself that they're inhaling. But it really, really, some of the vapor on them, sometimes they feel the phone overheating. You're charging the phone and you're feeling the charger real hot. That is what has happened with the vapor and thing. And sometimes it explode. If you see some of the pictures or some of the graphic pictures are when the vape explode, how it damage people's face and mash up all the teeth and it's very harmful. And children, some of them, they're just using it and they're not aware. So it's important for us to have the knowledge to be able to even educate our children also. Somebody had a question?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so people feel right. Hmm.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
And I can talk about my community too, where I know a lot of young people who smoke marijuana. And sometimes you have a history of mental health in your family. And that TSC just trigger that. And you trip off. I know a lot of young men that happen to and young ladies, right? In the schools from as early as teenage years, 13 years, 14 years. You know, that children shouldn't be exposed to these things. But we have to do more to protect our children because they're one day going to become adults. And if it is we do treat with the issues when they are children, it's going to fester until they become adults and they will be part of the problem in the communities. Right? So we have to really work towards detailing these kind of things too. Any questions at this time? Oh, well, I mean, to be honest, a trust relationship as time go by, well, the more you engage with each other, it come like a personal relationship. The more you spend time with your, like, let me just say if you're a married couple, the more you spend time with your partner, is the more you get to know your partner and discuss with them and engage with them. And so too, the relationship with the police is a growing one. We as an organization doing a lot to restore public trust, and it's a work in progress, to be honest. We know it have elements that create a real bad stigma and give the organization a bad name. But trust and believe, out of the almost 7 to 10,000 officers it have, that the majority of the officers in the police service are good people, are good law-abiding people. As a matter of fact, the same people at the police service recruiting. That's why it's important, even at the induction level, the recruitment level. That's why you put the face on the papers. Because you know, if a man is a bandit and he slipped through the cracks and he come in the organization, if he's a bandit all his life, if he'll 6 months going and change him,
No.
only Jesus probably could change him, according to the lady here. Right? So we are aware that it have a lot of people that but the trust relationship, I could tell you that not all police officers are bad officers. Some of us, most of us, we not happy about the crime situation. We're not happy because you know what? When we take off this uniform and we traverse to go home, we also concerned about our safety. So most officers not going to do things to make themselves a victim of crime. We're trying to rid the organization of corruption. We had the internal investigative units like the Professional Standards Bureau. We always seen police getting locked up. The complaints unit, we always seen police arrested and placed before the court to answer about their behavior. So it's not like nothing being done about it. But in order for the Monterey Post Station, which I believe is the station, the ship for this area, and the residents here to have a closer relationship, we had to engage a little more. So that station council meeting, when is they come to know the officers personally, and the officers come to know you personally, and they can attest, hey, now boy, you see John Brown, he's really a good one. He law abiding. We could trust he. And you could say, hey, you see, Miss Patsy Joseph and Sergeant Small and the woman corporal and this officer here from the CID, now we could trust them. And you don't have to go on a mic and send your information, You just channel it to the one or two officers that you believe you have a relationship with that you could trust. So we are saying go and tell broadcast to the whole of Money when you have information, but we need process our relationship building, and that is why we started with these officers here. The mere fact that they're here, let me tell you, the police who into criminal thing, they may taking the time to come and sit down here to want to hear your concerns, to want to work with. Nah, they may have time for that. Them.
We have a question, Rick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah. So let us form the neighborhood watch groups, street by street, and we could start with that. And as fast as we form any neighborhood watch, form a simultaneous, you can know it's going to happen there because from experience, once you form the neighborhood watch and people feel they have information about um my lad taking in and all that going in that chat. So you need to form a simultaneous chat as fast as you form any neighborhood watch group to be able to post if it is a man in the community and he's a tailor or a person is a seamstress or they have a business or they're selling something, do that in a separate watch group chat. So, yeah, but we want to try, we want to really well then
We ain't shutting it down from start.
no but we had a
We had
really
to try. Yeah, we had to try. We had to try. Yeah.
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 No, let me tell you something. With the involvement of the police, if it is we see, then we're going to contact let me tell you something. For this partnership to work, we have to have some form of mutual respect. And if the police is saying that we cannot compromise because we're not going to feel comfortable to share valuable information that probably life-threatening because it has criminal elements in chat, then who going to suffer? The community going to suffer. Yeah, so what we once it is we realize because it happened with me. We formed this big watch group in the release and some community had formed it. And I when I watching through the chat, I seen fella, some guy from he's some gang leader. He a youth man shooting and all kind of thing. And he in the chat. They make me an admin. Well, you know, I delete him immediately. Right? They make me an admin in the chat. But once they make me an admin in the chat and I realizing it's a criminal element, if the people in the community are afraid, trust and believe we the police we have no choice but to remove criminal elements because we cannot afford to have them in the chat. Then it ain't making sense we having a watch group chat if it is you planning to if you I mean only living here. I not living here. The officers not living here.
But what I want is for us to strengthen what we have.
Mm-hmm.
It's always about making it better, making it stronger, and making it, work for all of us. I heard the point about engaging the young people because within the village council, that is something that we are pursuing actively. We actually have a youth officer in the village council, and we're going to make sure that we engage the youth. But I personally, I work the length and breadth. And even my interaction with the young people, um, people who do wrong already,
Mm-hmm.
they'll come and miss pet or something happen and they will reach out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I hear something, I just reach out to them.
Right.
I just stick. And
That's how we all need to be, eh?
and what I find is I can't say I just get any disrespect here. None. In fact, if anybody try to disrespect me, the next one just jump on them. You understand me?
Yeah.
Because they know, and again, as I said, the trust, and that was built over time, right? And what I ask is that the officers, when you come, you do, as Johnny used to say, we want the down glass patrol, put down the glass in the car and talk to the people. Because what is the sense you're passing through and you don't say hello to nobody?
Yeah,
That just don't make
the
sense.
bush patrol.
The bush, yeah, that's what we call it, the bush patrol. They just bush through, right? So it is good because sometimes I remember in my days when you stop and then it have certain intuition and things that catch your eye and so on, you're accustomed seeing, so you kind of get an idea who from around here. And when you see a strange person, you drive upside of him, and you're very polite. You say, "Good morning, you're good? Where you heading to?" And then by their reaction, you realize, hello, he is not a resident here, 15, he don't start to act a little jijiri, he want to run, whatever. And this is, we could still do that. Them is the things that work that ain't gone nowhere. We catch a lot of bandits, we get a lot of information, we get a lot of plenty things that we would not get just by being out there and just not passing everybody straight.
So true. Yeah.
So again, we need on the officer side, we need for them to, and I just tell them, when I come Cocoyea, come by me. Come by me. All officer in Manipur know where I live. Right? Because I just tell them come by me because it always have some advice or some information I could give to them. Because just like what you say, I'm very aware of, and if I know for myself, somebody just send a text and tell me.
Yeah. And
Right?
that's why we want to use the neighborhood watch in terms of, as Ma mentioned, if say a stranger, make sure and get a proper physical description of that person, what they're wearing, their height, their ethnicity, their hairstyle, and put those type of information. If it is you have people with cameras and able to take a picture from a camera and post it in the chat, let us post the information about strange activities happening in the community. You see a vehicle driving through the community, try and get the registration number or any distinguishing marks on the vehicle. If they have a sign or a symbol or anything that, if it is they commit a crime in the area and you report to the police the information and they don't even have the vehicle number, you could get some kind of proper description of the police when they go out to search, because when we send our oil point bulletin to be able to go and search for that person or vehicle, we want to be able to have the information. So better than that, post that is what the WhatsApp group is for. I just want to tie into in terms of household, just little snippets are given you as we go along. Some people you buy your brand new TV and there is the box by the road. And they're just advertising for the criminals and the people who want the thief and whatever, that you just buy a TV and you just buy a radio and they put the box by the road and you have all this cereal, everything on the box just outside the advertising that Christmas come and you have money, right? Try and sometimes cut up the box, put it in I come into you, put it in a little garbage bag, do put the information outside there. And when it is you purchase the items and the CID person can attest to this, make sure in some way that you could store it and hide it, write down like the serial number of your television or your radio or your appliance. Write down the serial number some way so that in case it's stolen and the police
Pick up with it.
we'll be able to identify it and return it and arrest and charge people for committing the offense or larceny and that kind of thing. I have a cousin that stole a car some years ago, and under the car seat, she writes something with nail polish. And that is how the police get back the car, because when they went for the vehicle, when they locate the vehicle, no chassis, the people cut out the chassis, the engine was changed, and obviously the registration plate wasn't on the vehicle. And one of the ways that she was able to identify that vehicle is to, she had a distinguishing mark on the vehicle. And as I mentioned that, anyway, before I go on to the next point, I'll just take this question.
Um, One time, so, and he wanted to be able to watch not someone's
Well, you know that, you, you know something? If I tell you something, everybody had a sense of awareness in them. You believe that? Because if it is you get a gut feeling that something ain't right. For example, let me just say we sit down here now and somebody come in here and they're not known to the community, they ain't look like they come to the meeting, or they come here and they have on a mask, or they're behaving suspicious. And as we say, we get our bad vibes. That is something natural, instinctive in every human being. That instinct to kind of determine whether you should run or whether you should, that fight or flight instinct, that in everybody, right? And sometimes when they get a gut feeling, you don't have to be 100% sure. You could just act on the information. So that's why we say, if you see something, say something. You see something strange and you're uncomfortable about it, you see two, three men in a car and they behaving a little suspicious, you see a person walking on the road and you only looking back and he's scanning and he's looking spooky, post the information in chat, share it with the police, and let us be the ones to respond to be able to determine whether he clean or he is so clean. Right? But pass on the information. We don't want you to figure it out all at once. All we want you to do is just pass the information. If you see something, say something. Right? I want everybody to hold up their cell phone. And there's just something. When you all remember the Andrea Barrett kidnapping? One of the ways the police was able to locate her in terms of the location and arrest people and that kind of thing was through her cell phone. Right? And everybody's cell phone has something unique. You see, it's just like your fingerprint unique to you. It has something called the IMEI code on your phone that's unique to your phone. So if it is here, do what I'm going to tell you to do. I want you to screenshot that information and probably email it or send it to a loved one. So in case of any emergency, if it is you were to ever be missing or lost or kidnapped or anything, and the police check this information, our cybercrime unit could track your pinpoint location by using this information, right? So you're dialing on your mobile device, star number sign. We look at try two officers before they never see it. Yes, star number sign, 06 number sign.
I see youth in the group.
You see that matrix? Let me show me the matrix that you're seeing up on the phone. Right, so star number sign, 06 number sign, and that unique only to your phone. So you could screenshot that and send it to like a loved one who you want to be able to locate you in the case of any emergency. It's something called the IMEI code.
Star.
Everybody have it? Everybody?
Wait, say it again.
Star number sign,
Number sign
06
06
number sign.
number sign.
And that, yeah. And that.
Okay.
That's all. I ain't seen it before. Insurance.
So start.
I got you now.
Yeah, look yours coming up here. They come up in like the matrix. But there's where screenshot in here. Let the information come up here.
Okay.
Number sign. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a seed like that. But yours come up different, but it come up.
My own have IMEI
You see?
1, IMEI 2, PSN.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can screenshot that.
No, the phone it.
It's unique to the phone. Yes, star number sign, 06 number sign. Again, we are passing on this information to the bandits, eh?
So you send that to a loved one, and anywhere your phone end up, they would be able to track it.
Yes. Yes, so the police cybercrime unit could track your phone in case of any emergency once it is you produce this information to them.
I will what we'll do and so you will take that code, yeah, so that we could share it to, yeah. I will send it to you.
Nice. Any other questions at this time?
Yes, remember, bear in mind we after 8. Thank you. No, go ahead.
People of violence. When the sequence, they have written that people see us sworn, they start getting on this.
Well, I can't say that if a person, well, I mean, to be honest, if a person doing crime and they see somebody from law enforcement, right, generally, because I mean, people see the police, people doing crime and they see the police, they really want to see the police either, you know. They might think they're cool and whatever, but they know they're going to get arrested. As a matter of fact, the police more than the soldier will be able to arrest them and put them before a court of law.
But whenever they see what the judge, whoever.
Right. Right. You remember? Yeah. So understand what you're saying now? Well, well, every community different, right? Every community different, but trust and believe. If because you see the thinking is a yeah, but you have access self. Yeah. You know something? The police don't allow abiding people to free them, you know. The police don't want law abiding people to free them. But if it is you see that them same people see jeep load of police coming and they believe there's some operation taking place, trust me, they ain't go and stand up and be cool and comfortable if they're doing crime. But we don't want the police to fear the people to fear the police. We want criminals to fear the police. Mm. Right.
Leaders. When after this kind
Mm. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I listen, we listen. Yeah. Right.
no,
Mm-hmm.
just no affirmance,
Right.
just the
Right. Mm-hmm.
no.
Well, we actually have a mandate as an organization to use our flashing lights. That is the instructions from the executive of the police service that they want the police service to. So again we huh? No, Mom, that's not. I don't want you to divert too much. What I'm saying is that we have a mandate to use the flashing lights. Is a form of deterrent. Notwithstanding that, if a police responding, whether it's the task force or the CID, and they feel like they want to catch somebody in a and they probably might need to switch off the light, it's the police and patrol to make that determination. It's you to make that determination. But we have a general mandate to use the flashing lights while it's on patrol. Yeah. Right. So what happened is that this patrol, they just leave the station and leave the whole district and everything to just come and here so they can't stay whole night here. Right? Because they don't want they don't want the whole of this district to complain. Right?
Little interaction after
Yeah.
the meeting.
Yeah, so we go
Right.
allow we go want to try to close, so we go allow for let to have a little one-on-one and to exchange a little contact and with
I
the
don't know. I
officers.
don't know if the officers from Manipur want to say anything.
So
This is a
just
nice
before we
little
leave, we want to share the
opportunity.
station number, which is 653-0735. We have a new sergeant on board, however, Clyde Harry Prasad is no longer there. He's attached to St. Madeleine now. So if you want to have the new sergeant number,
Yeah.
he is Sergeant Martin.
How long he come there?
About a month.
Okay.
So the station number again is 653-0735. And Sergeant Martin number is 373-7257. We also have a Sergeant Singh.
Let me take Martin number. I ain't too hot with that. Anybody writing? You writing? Take down those numbers, please. Now, those are
Sergeant
important
Martin again
numbers
is
first.
373-7257.
Write it down on the pad.
We also have a Sergeant Singh attached to Manipur.
Yeah. What we'll do up all that on a listing and we will send it around so that
Sergeant Singh number is 320-1691.
it's answering. Wonderful. Right.
So again, we would like to
Yes.
work with you all. Just come
Yes, and
forward and share whatever
ma'am, you could
information.
let the sergeants know I am ready, willing, able to assist in getting our station council where we need it to be, because I think that is one of the best tools that the police
4728.
and the communities have
7028.
to
Papa
really
Cassie.
treat with
KS
crime
is it.
and keeping crime away from our
I will,
communities.
ma'am.
Right? So, on behalf of the Cocoyea Village Council, I would like to thank you all for coming to share with us. I know this is the start because I already know what's stop, right? Good. We have to keep on doing this, interacting with each other. As I know the police are the people and the people are the police. I born growing knowing that. So that it is important that we keep this kind of interaction up,
KS is it.
and all we will do is to move from strength to strength. So thank you all for coming to share with us. And I know, as I say, this is the start of the great relationship that we're going to have with the police. Thank you very much.